My fellow Decepticons, it is I, Starscreamsalot here, coming back at you today with another video, and I am back after like 2 weeks. Sorry for being gone, everyone, but curveballs in life, or something along those lines, it happens. Anyways, so in my time of being gone, I've been doing some things, watching things, playing games, doing all that kind of stuff. And on Saturday, I had finished a series that I had started watching like a month ago. And this series is something called Murder Drones. Now, I'm certain that most of you have heard of Murder Drones. It's got like 68 billion views on YouTube. Surely you all would know at this point what it is, at least as a thing. But yeah, I watched it, and I finished it on Saturday, and all I'm gonna say is, it's really good. Like, it's really good. So I thought to myself, what if I expand the kind of content I've been producing, and step out to make something new? And this something new is going to be a 8-episode long series of my review of Murder Drones. And with that out of the way, I do suppose there's not much else to say, other than, let's go. So I suppose a first good place to start with this would be to talk about the plot of the episode. I think that's a good idea. So anyways, the plot of the episode is that it starts with a voice telling us the exposition of what is going on. We find out that everybody in the series is just pretty much just worker drones invented by J.C. Jensen in space for the sole purpose of doing work for humans, which they did. And even though they were like abused, according to them, they just did it anyways. But eventually, humans being humans, they blew themselves up because they didn't care. And yeah, the worker drones were left alone on their planet to do whatever they wanted to do. And when the company found out, they were like, oh no. Oh no. And so they sent disassembly drones to their planet to kill the runaway AI because they don't like the thought of that. And that's basically just the plot. Well, at least the little exposition that we get for this first episode. And then immediately afterwards, we discover that this is just a presentation being told by Uzi, our main character of the show, pretty much. Now, Uzi is what I would like to call your basic teenage girl in school. That is edgy. But she's a lot cooler than that. Because she has a railgun. Because she wants to kill the murder drones. Or disassembly drones, I suppose. But we also find out that this presentation was supposed to be a simple word problem about watermelons. Now, my question is, how do they know what watermelons are? And do watermelons exist on their planet? Neither of those questions get answered. Neither of them have to. Anyways, Uzi is all like, this is my cool gun that I'm gonna, destroy the murder drones with. Rah. And it then blows up in her face because it turns red. And whenever something turns red, it explodes. This is just the law. It happens all the time, I swear. But whatever. It doesn't matter too much. Uzi is then sent to the nurse's office, where she has an ice pack on her face, which I think is pretty funny, seeing as how they're robots, and I don't think ice would do anything. But whatever. We see the two popular girls laughing like, ooh, it didn't kill her, ooh. And then they scurry away. Also, I should probably mention right now that there's going to be spoilers. Which, if you don't want spoilers, don't watch this video. Please, don't. You shouldn't. Anywho. And then Thad walks into the room. And Thad, if you don't know, is a basic teenage jock, I would suppose. but he's a nice jock. He's a cool guy. And his introduction is a perfect summary of one of my favorite parts of the show being the show's comedy. I think the comedy of this series is done very well. Like, it is amazing. It always gets me to laugh. Like, when he walks in, the first thing he says is, "Nice one, Chad." Or he says, "Nice toxic masculinity, Chad. I'm sure that won't have any negative repercussions." And I'm like, that's so funny. Like, I don't know why that's so funny to me. It just is. It perfectly, like, gets me going, and my monkey brain likes the comedy. Anyways, he walks in another room and he sits next to Uzi, and he's like, "So, Uzi, that was wild, wasn't it?" And it was just like, "Ugh, go away, Thad." And she's like, "Wait, how do you know my name?" Because Uzi's also an unpopular girl, which says a lot, I guess. But Thad is like, "Well, I would normally say that you're the daughter of the man who builds the doors that keep us safe from the disassembly drones and keeps us safe from the outside world. But then I'd probably lose my half of my face as well." And it's like, yeah. Her dad is the man who makes all the doors that keeps them safe. He makes all the bunkers and whatnot. But we'll get to him later. Her dad is a pretty important character, I would say, for some episodes. But whatever. Anyways, Thad then compliments Uzi's bandages, and she's like, "Ugh, the heck? I hate that you said that. Ugh." And then Thad, being the awesome guy, he asks, "So what's with the gun?" And then Uzi interrupts him midway, and she's like, "Oh, this gun that I'm going to use to fight back against the disassembly drones, that totally works. Like, it's going to work. I intend to go out to the murder drone lair tonight and get the last little piece I need so that I can blow their faces up." Because, yeah, that's what her plan is. Which, that sounds like the kind of plan I would come up with, to be honest, if I was in that scenario. And then Uzi sits back down and asks, "So what are you in for? Testosterone too hard?" And he's like, "That can happen?" Nice. Like, oh, that is such a vibe. He's so cool. But, yeah, after, like, they talk for, like, another minute, Uzi then leaves and is like, goes to bed, I suppose. Because when the morning comes, she wakes up, gets an ID card, puts on her beanie, grabs her gun, and is about to head off outside in the doors, when then her dad shows up. Khan Dorman. Which I think it's funny how his last name is Dorman. Like, he was made to build doors, that's how you can tell. Anyways, he's all like, "Uzi, what are you doing?" And she's like, "I'm totally gonna go sneak out so I can be with my boyfriend that I definitely have." She smiles and he's like, "What are you really doing, Uzi?" And so then she's like, "Well, I mean, I really want to learn how to do doors because I want to cower behind the doors and play cards all day." Yeah. And then Khan is like, "Ugh, silly Uzi, we don't just play cards, you know." And then the door behind him opens up, and we get, like, one of my favorite jokes in the show, where it's, "Hey, Khan, can you grab us another pack of cards? The ink has literally run out because of how much we've been playing cards." And then the door behind him closes. And that is just peak comedy to me. For some reason, I find it so stupid that it vibes with me. But yeah. And then Khan is like, "Well, if you're really into doors, then here, have the wrench that I used to build my first door." And he gives her the wrench, and then he says, like, "And the wrench I used to put your mother out of her misery when she got hit by the nitrate acid from one of those murder drones." And it's like, that's some lore. Like, I wasn't expecting that when I first saw it, to be honest. Like, that was not the kind of stuff I was expecting. Anyway, Khan opens up that door again, and he's like, "Guys, guess what? My daughter, she's into doors now." And they, like, start to cheer, and he's like, "Yay, good job, Uzi. Like, look at that." And he's like, "Yep, she's gonna go inspect door 1. Can you believe it, guys?" And then she, like, walks outside just really nonchalantly, like, she doesn't have a gun on her back. And I'm just like thinking, that's also really funny to me. I can't even take anything away from that. That's just really funny to me. Anyways, Uzi goes outside. It's like nighttime, I suppose. And she's like, time to go find this thing. And she walks to the murder drone base. She like scuttles around in trash, finds a bunch of dead bodies, naturally. She picks up the thing that she needs. She like plugs it into her gun. And then she hears one of the murder drones make a sound from in the sky. So then she goes to like run behind a rock or something, a piece of metal. And then one of the murder drones lands on his little base thing. And he's like all eating fleshes and whatever. He crushes a skull. Or he crushes a murder drone head. Or a worker drone head in his hands. And she's already like thinking like, oh no, what am I going to do? And then the murder drone notices Uzi. And he's like, Rah! He jumps at her and like she starts running away. She does a backflip and she's like, man, pirating all the anime wasn't useless after all. And then they have a little scuffle, her and the murder drone. And after a little bit, Uzi grabs her gun and then she shoots the murder drone square on, right in the face, right in the schnoggin. And then he dies, pretty much. And then she's like, yes, it works. But we find out that her gun has to recharge, and it takes a really long time to recharge. I think 30 minutes is what I heard. I don't remember. But it's like, it works. I can shoot the murder drones now. And then some squelching happens behind them, and the murder drone's head just comes right back from nowhere. Like, they have a sick regen. It's crazy. But yeah. Uzi's like, ah, crap, I'm dead. And it's right here where we're introduced to the literal best character in the show. He's my favorite. Because after he stands back up, and he like starts recalibrating, rebooting, or whatever, he's like, hi, you must be the new member of our team. My name is N. And N is the best character in the show. Like, oh, he's so cool. He's my favorite. He's so like nice and stuff, and it's been a while since I've really liked a character like that. Anyways, he says hi, my name's N. He says all the pleasantries and stuff. He's like, if you are a member of our team, you're a little short though. I don't know. I can't seem to remember the past 8 hours of my life. And Uzi's like, uh-huh. Then she like tries to walk away, I think. Yeah, she tries to walk away, but her hand is like melting because she got stabbed with the acid. And is like, oh yeah, you can just stick that wound in your mouth and the saliva will heal the wound. Because if it didn't, I'd have to be disassembling myself all the time. And N is such a nice guy, man. He's literally amazing. Anyway, Uzi's like, well, hey, let's go into the pod over there. And N's like, okay, I'm always open to trying new things. And then she like, it cuts to Uzi taking her hand out of N's mouth. He's like, well, that was new. And they have a little exposition talk where Uzi's like, well, what's with the killing? What's the point of the killing and stuff? And N's like, I don't know, we're made with a purpose. We kill. It's kind of our deal. And after they talk a little bit more, N introduces us to the other two members of his squad. And we're first introduced to V, who N likes. Like, N likes V. Like, has a crush on her, right? And V is your typical psychopathic murderer type character. I like V. V is cool. V is very cool. She's the psychopathic woman girl, and she's cool. And then he introduces us to Jay, who is the leader of their group. And Jay is she's the bossy girl. Talks in big words, monologues, that kind of girl. And other than that, he's like, yeah, normally I'd be the leader, but V and J always call me useless, so, oh well. And then they talk a bit more, and V is like, or not V, Uzi is like, well, if you're doing all this for respect, look at how much respect it's gotten you. Literally nothing. Like, yeah, it's true though. It's like, his team doesn't really respect him, and nobody else really does. We find out that the pod that they're in was a one-way landing pod, and Uzi's like, well, what do you think the company has planned for us if we really are, once you really do finish the mission? And N's like, But then their conversation gets quickly interrupted as V and J return to the pod, and N is like, oh boy, they're back. You'll love them. And then Uzi naturally just is gone. She starts running away, and V is like, I see a little worker drone out there. I want to practice balloon animal shapes with. And then Jay is like, and you messed up big time. That was a worker drone. And like slaps him in the face. And he reboots and he's like, no. And then he's like, I left an excuse to be over that way. And then he runs away. Then he chases after Uzi. Uzi gets back to the place. This one dude says, oh man, I can't wait to tell my loving wife and kids about this whole event that's been happening right now. And then when Uzi gets in, they're like, Uzi, what's going on? What's going on, Uzi? And holds the door open before Uzi can close it. And he's like, oh man, you're playing cards? I love cards. He's like, well, man, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to kill you now. Oh well. And then he manages to open the door. And he's like, right? And to this kind of point in the episode where it gets pretty violent, this is where the murder and murder drones comes from. This is the first real action scene. Anyways, N goes on a murderous rampage of all these poor robots, and one of them gets his head chopped off, one of them gets bisected, one of them blows up. You know, he's going nuts. He's going crazy. And eventually, he manages to catch up to Uzi, who is now completely prepared to just shoot, and like, look at her, she is ready. And then Khan shows up and he's like, hi Uzi, what's going on? And then N pops in from behind Uzi, in between Khan, and he's like, and they're like, uh-oh. And then N is all like, sorry Uzi, I really enjoyed our time together, but job's a job. And then Khan is like, you let a murder drone here, Uzi? And then Uzi's like, yeah, but I'm about to fix this mistake. Then she aims the gun and she's like, Dad, duck. And before she can do anything because her dad's in the way, and it manages to stab Uzi, pinning her to a wall, and it's pretty clear that she's basically dead now. But if Dad can come up and shoot N for Uzi, then hey, she'll be fine. So she's like, Dad, get the gun, shoot him now, shoot him. And Khan is all like, he's like shaking and everything. He's clearly panicked. And instead of helping her out, he just shuts the door. And Uzi, naturally, in this point in time, is completely prepared to just give up. Because what is she gonna do now? It's pretty clear that she's basically dead. And then N is all like, he like has a moment of hesitation because he's like, well, this girl, man, she was nice to me and stuff. She kind of nice, at least. She doesn't deserve this. Like, and then J and V show up and he like chucks Uzi in like into a box of crates, pretty much. And they're like complimenting him, like, "Wow, good job, N. You did something not useless for once. I've been trying to get past those doors for months." They have a quick V jumps into a vent to get to the rest of the worker drones. And then Jay is all, if we manage, because of you, we're gonna get Team of the Month. And you know what that means, and branded pens. Like, for a pen. It's like, okay. And then N has a moment of kind of like questioning, like, hey Jay, you know what the company has planned for us when we're all done with this whole thing? And Jay is all like, treachery, huh? What do you think you are, Starscream? And then she hits him with like a virus thing or whatever. He collapses and she's like, well, at least now I have an excuse to kill you. And then she like leaves him there to just die. And so Uzi then wakes up from her little nap or whatever, and she tries to get into the vent to claw her way to the rest of the murder drones to get them, but she has a moment of like kind of bonding with N. N's like, man, I'm sorry, Uzi. I ruined your game of cards, and I made you have an awkward moment with your dad. And then Uzi's like, well, I made you rebel against the literal people that you're working for, so morality calls this a draw. And then N is like, yeah, that's fair. So he's content with his life now. He's pretty confident he's gonna die. And then Uzi's like, well, fine. Uzi then proceeds to fix up N, and we then cut to J and V absolutely decimating poor Thad. Thad is up there standing his ground. He's like, come on, you're the WDF, right? Defend and fight with me. And then they're like just backing up and they're like, seriously? And then V comes in and she's like, what da. She like gets poor Thad in a little combo or whatever. And then right as she's about to finish him off, N and Uzi come in. They have a fist bump, and Uzi's like, we're gonna take you down. And then N is all like, listen, Jay, you're really mean to me, and I don't like that. And I would really like it if you stopped, okay? And then they have a little moment, it's like, alright, which one do you want? And then N says, I'd like Jay, please. And then Uzi's all like, too late! And chucks the pen from earlier straight into one of V's little noggin thingies on her head. And then Jay pulls out a machine gun, because that's a natural response to that kind of scenario, I would assume. Starts shooting. Uzi gets deflected, but then she does a backflip into the air and kicks the pen straight deeper into Jay's eye. And then right after that, we cut to N and V starting to fight, and they're going at it now. And then they take to the skies. There's missiles blowing up and stuff. Things are flying. Weapons are being exploded. N's mind is in a weird place and explodes. And then, after a while, Jay activates her EMP, which she apparently has, and knocks out Uzi. And now that N and V apparently think that they're playing Pokemon because they're doing a sky battle, apparently, N must think this is really Pokemon, because once he notices Uzi is on the ground and about to die, N is all like, listen, V, you're really gonna hate this. Sorry. And then he uses lick on her knife thing. He's like, ew, what the heck? And then he like kicks her in the face and she falls to the ground and explodes pretty much. And then Jay starts monologuing and is like, well, this kind of stuff is bound to happen when you're somebody as great as me. The population and the equity and the business and the company and the yada yada yada. And then Uzi, to what I think what she did was she stabs Jay in the leg with her nitrate acid tail stabby thing. And Jay falls to the ground. Uzi has the gun again, and she's like, say one more buzzword and I'm gonna do it. And she's like, equity partnership? And then like her entire upper body just explodes. And then she's dead. And then that's it. They beat them. They win. And tied up V, and everybody comes back out from their little hidey holes or whatever, like hobbits or something. And then Uzi and they're like, yeah, boom, kinda. And then Khan shows back up, and Khan is really ashamed of what he's done. And then Uzi, who is understandably really mad about this, is like, I accidentally let in the murder drones. You chose to leave me for dead. And it's like, dang. Khan, what a chuckle nut. And then after Uzi's little crash out, she's like, I'm banishing myself. And then her and V just leave. And then Khan is understandably pretty upset about this. And then we cut to Uzi sitting on a car, looking into the sky, saying, yeah, I'm gonna kill all humans, because that's the plan, apparently. And then she cackles into the screen. You zoom out, planet, black screen. The end. So after that really long explanation or recap of the episode, what did I think? Well, in total, I think it was actually really, really solid. For instance, I really did like the animation. I know it's earlier in the series, but I still think it had a really nice start to everything. I think it all looks nice, and I think it's all like animated pretty well. Another thing I really liked was the humor. I think the humor was done excellently, and it always appeals to my stupid little taste in comedy that I possess. And I actually did really think that the whole plot of the episode was good. And I think it really did a nice job at keeping me hooked and wanting to keep watching it, even though it took me a month to finish. But other than that, there's not much else to say about it. This is one of the episodes that had the least amount of negatives, in my opinion. Like, of the 8 episodes, if this one is one of the better episodes of the series. Probably my second favorite. Probably. Anyway, another thing I really liked about it was, again, the characters. I think they introduced everybody really well. And, there's N, and there's Thad, and there's Uzi, and there's V. All of which are amazing characters that I really, really like. And especially, he's my favorite character, as I said before. But, other than that, I don't know if there's really much else to say. I mean, also the music. The music is very nice. It always sets the tone up very well. Even though I can't, name any of the music from the episode, I can still say, just from the series in general, I can't really name a lot of songs. There's, 2 that I'm aware of, but we'll get into those later, on another time. But, yeah, characters are great, story is great, the episode's great, animation's great, music's good. Not much else to really say. I mean, I can't really call anything else great. I've said it all. I do think that there's not really any negatives with this episode either. I think it's really solid. It's just not much else to really complain about. I don't really have any nitpicks. I don't really have any qualms with the episode. I don't really have any issues. I think it's just, by and large, just really great. And, yeah, I mean, that's probably all I have to say. Please go check out the original. I'll link Glitch's channel in the description. And, yeah, Glitch would explain, the episodes themselves explain it a lot better than I ever could. But, other than that, yeah, that's about all I have to say. All the credit of the clips and stuff go to Glitch, right? And the animators of Murder Drones. Please go support them too. Join my Discord if you want. Subscribe, do the whole shebang and sheboggle if you haven't already. And other than that, I think we're done. Hope you enjoyed, and this was the first non-toy review on my channel, so yeah. All in all, I'd give this episode a 10 out of 10. I probably should have mentioned that a little bit earlier, but oh well. What are you gonna do? But yeah, don't have much else to say. Goodbye.